Let's go.
Okay, hello everybody. Today we are going to talk about interesting topics. This topic is what is academic writing or another form to write academic writing. So we are uh, we are uh, Leandra Agudelo, Maria Jose Lopez, and me, Abel Ayala. So let's start.
Academic writing. Academic writing must be brief, clear, focused, properly structured, and supported by the evidence. It helps in providing the information. What is academic writing? Academic writing is very important to learn, especially for students. It teaches the student how to think critical and accurately while clearly conveying complex ideas in a well-structured, concise format. This type of writing can be defined in many ways. Your structure can give different names to this assignment. Easy, third paper, analysis easy, but them all of them have the same purpose and are based of the same principles. Academic writing can be broadly defined as any writing that is academic or educational in nature, most often for college or university purpose. This type of writing commonly has a specific set of characteristics that includes tone, style, formatting, or organization that separated from other forms of writing in English. This section in University del Rosario will explore this theme of provide helpful tips to improve a married or specific areas relates to writing with an academic purpose. Important points to remember about academic writing. The first, academic writing should involve expressing your own ideas in response to what your teacher said. The second one, important point, the goal of completing academic writing or academic paper is to show that you have a profound knowledge of a specific topic. And finally, it's the important point, you must share your own thought about a science question or an issue that may be of interest to your professor and other scholars.
Futures of academic writing. The academic writing is focuses and plans. The question is answered in a prepared and centered manner and shows an awareness of the subject. Structures. The academic writing structure is concise and writing in a logical order and includes points and content like and evidence. It displays understanding of the subject region, support viewpoints, and claims with facts and is currently referenced. Format, tone, and style. It is simple, brief, and balanced, and use adequate vocabulary and dense. It should involve expressing your own ideas in response to what your teacher said. And the goal of comparing academic paper is to show that you have a profound knowledge for a specific topic and you can easily share your own thoughts about a scientific question or an issue that may be of interest to your professor and other scholars. What are the types of academic writing? And there are four major types. Um, Descriptive is one of the simplest type of academic writing, and the main objective of this is to give information or facts about the subject area. And an example of descriptive writing would be a summary of a study, a report of an experiment results, analytical. It involves information as that of descriptive writing about it needs to rearrange the details and facts and details them into type, groups, categories, and part or relationship. Persuasive. Persuasive writing has similar features to analytical academic writing, but you can add your own perspective here, and several easy are perspective. And a perspective company is very parallel and summary of a research study. And critical. It has similar features as that of perspective writing, along with a less one another individual point of view.
Well, now I'm going to talk about what is the purpose of academic writing. There are several purposes of academic writing, but the main purpose is to provide the information with a clear, appropriate, and thoughtful image that a specific topic. Well, it has several types. Each of them is writing to provide for it a specific purpose. For example, one type is done to explain the subjects. The other is done just to describe, etc. Now, moving toward its overall purpose, they are as follows. We have at first accuracy. Well, when you start writing, you need to use more accurate and authentic words. Some students use more unclear word combination like, I mean, for example, many people say or once a person says, they are not considered to feel accurate in academic writing. So one of its purpose is to provide the reader with correct or accurate information. As second, we have density. One on daily basis, we use very simple language and in a very clear way, but when we write or read academic content, you have to notice that it involves complex words and language that are hard to understand. Well, in academic writing, um, we have to use more accurate language that includes all point of view, including grammar, phrases, clauses, subordinates, qualifying, adjective, etc. At first, we have correctness. During the academic writing, you should to avoid informal language. Its purpose is to avoid using short form and dialect words in your writing. Another is detachment. While writing content, the student have to focus more on the topic subjects, objective, rather than the focus is on what your audience thinks about that topic. So, whenever when you talk about adjective, we talk about the central idea of the main the main idea of the topics. So try to write information relevant to topic without thinking about what your opinion is. Above are some the key point that everyone should keep in mind while reading or writing content. Next, please. Well, now we are going to talk about what are the fundamental roots of academic writing. This part, there are 5 steps to follow.
The first, describe ideas clearly. Describing the topic is one of the difficult tasks for a student. Try to make the content reader friendly.
Second, create an outline. And planning helps you achieve your goals, and you can write constantly by following the outline.
And now I'm going to talk about explain one point. The third step, it is explain one point in a paragraph. Explain one point in one paragraph. The audience likes to write writing, which explain the information properly, help your audience in understanding your point or your point of view.
The fourth one, create short sentence. Long sentences are hard to read. That is why I try to create short and concise sentence.
Five, apply active voice. Try to use an active voice in your academic writing.
So now I'm going to share a video about academic writing. So can you see my screen?
Yes.
You built a website for a major
And listen in my video.
In this video,
Yes.
I'm going to talk about some general features of academic writing that you need to be familiar with if you want to succeed in your own writing at university. First of all, you need to consider that writing is communicative. In all forms of communication, there is a sender who transmits a message to a receiver. In academic writing, that message will be a fact-based argument, and in order to successfully deliver this, you need to know who you're writing for and what you can expect your target reader to already know. In other words, identifying your audience is crucial. Another central feature of academic writing is that it's objective, which means you should avoid biased language and generalizations, and that you shouldn't bring in your personal preconceptions or opinions. An academic essay about, say, a fictional character, a political conflict, or a religious issue should present an argument that sheds light on the actual topic, but mustn't be a subjective statement on the part of the writer. Academic writing is a formal genre, and you are expected to use a rather strict register and format. This can be a challenge, especially for non-native writers, as different levels of formality might be difficult to recognize in a second language. Remember, the question of style and register in writing is not necessarily a difference between what is right or wrong language-wise, but rather specifies what is the preferred style for a specific occasion. In other words, what is right in one context may not be considered okay in another. Just as you wouldn't wear flip-flops to a formal dinner, you don't use the informal style of text messages between friends in a job application or a university essay. But how do you go about finding the right level of formality for writing at university then? Well, one way is to study texts within your specific discipline. As a university student, you have loads of helpful resources to hand. You have access to your university library resources, books as well as journals, and perhaps also student papers and degree projects written at your department. Read texts within your discipline to learn how scholars and experienced students write. Look for things like how they introduce their argument, how they define and use discipline-specific terms, and how they make use of previous research within the field. The last thing I'd like to raise here is the fact that writing practices do vary from one academic discipline to the next. This means that you need to learn what is expected of you for the particular text that you are writing. An article in physics looks very different from one in history, for instance. If you transfer from one discipline to another, you'll notice that although the basics remain the same, the way that texts are written when it comes to referencing and text structure, for instance, may differ.
So that's all. Thanks for listening.
Thank